Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. Let's start with Radha Madhava. Jai Radha Madhava, Jai Kunj Bihari, Jai Radha Madhava, Jai Kunj Bihari, Jai Gopijana Vallabha, Jayo Giravardhari, Shodanandana Vrajjana Ranjana, Shodanandana Vrajjana Ranjana, Yamuna Tiruvanachari, Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunj Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Agyantimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah, Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakammalam Shri Guru Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Nitantam Sajiv Sadhvetam Sabdutam Krishna Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Devi Pranmami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatu Brihascha Kirpa Sindhubevacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Dishatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasti Go Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Langyate Garim Yat Kirpataham Vandashi Gurundin Taranam Paramananda Madham Shirtanesham Hariyam Tassat Narayan Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Sasvati Asam Tato Jemaduriyat Nasta Prashabdreshu Nitam Bhagavata-Sevayā Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nestiki Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining, and just to have a recap of what we were talking about last time. So we were talking about glories of knowledge, and we were discussing the sound incarnation. Is mentioned that the Bhagavad-Gita is a sound incarnation of the Lord, and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the sound representation, or rather the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the sound representation of the Lord. So could say in the form of Vyasadeva as well, he is the incarnation of the Lord. So we also said that knowledge is passed down disciplic succession. It's not mundane or fictional knowledge. And we've had Srila Prabhupada bring us this knowledge, the translations of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Bhagavad-Gita and other literatures, and the purports to explain to us, because we cannot understand this transcendental knowledge by our own intellect. Doesn't matter how intelligent you have, how much intelligence you have, you cannot work out. It's confidential knowledge. Basically, we have confidential knowledge, we have more confidential knowledge, and we have the most confidential knowledge. Otherwise, even we mentioned in Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge. It's all confidential. We cannot work it out. Somebody has to tell us, and then on top of that, we have to be not envious to understand it. If we are envious of God, of Krishna, then we will not understand it. This is why atheist kind of people, you explain to them everything about Bhagavad-Gita, you're on the street, book distribution, like nothing sinks in, because they have envy and they cannot grasp these things. Last time we were talking about Mataji asking whether should help a dying person who is an atheist or does not believe in Krishna, whether we should help them by chanting like that. So, we've had situations where they've asked a dying person to chant and they refuse to chant. Even on their deathbed, they will refuse to chant, that they don't believe in it. So, like that. But, you can help. If it's your own family, then yes, by all means, you can help them. Do whatever you think is necessary if it's your own personal family. But somebody else's family, obviously you need permission and make sure that you're doing the right thing, not imposing. But if it's your own parents, own family, then by all means, try to help them. Whether they accept it or not is another thing. But you can try and help them, because you have good conviction that this process will help them in their next life, in the next birth, So that's fine. So and we also said that we are also in the disciplic succession. So it's our job as well to preach, to help other people. We are also, if not the branches, the twigs of Mahaprabhu's tree of bhakti, that he says, I am the gardener, and you are all going to help me in this bhakti, the vriksha of bhakti vriksha. So, and even Prabhu in the overview, he was saying as well that we should all preach, up to our capacity. So we don't have to be like the best preachers, then we start preaching. We can preach to our capacity, whatever, if not to the public, we can preach to the family, but in a subtle way, not, that they start avoiding you, thinking, they're going to keep talking about Krishna. You do it in a subtle way, maybe, give an example in conversation, just do it in a subtle way, so that they don't, if they don't, not really into it, they don't feel that, you're just imposing yourself all the time. It's very important, we don't impose on ourselves on anyone. We keep it subtle until, if they ask questions, even better, then it's great. But if they don't want to know, they don't ask questions, and they find it intrusive that you are talking about, your beliefs, then it can spoil the relationships. So it's important that we are subtle with how we approach even family, and they say that family, because they are family, they're around you, you can show them by your own example, your exemplary behavior, your sadhana, your conviction. They can see that, right? Our children see that, and they think, yeah, this whatever they're doing is is transforming. Then they want to have a go as well, that this is something scientific, seem to really work. Let's try this. The kids, it doesn't matter how young they are, they have intelligence. They have observation. They can see that something is happening here which is extraordinary. So they want to try as well. So yeah, so we do it that way. Anyway, let's continue. Okay. So verse 10. Tadham te vidhasyami maha paruksho bhavan yasya sharda datham ashu syan mukunde mathi sati. So that aham I te unto you abhi da sayami shall recite Mahapurushkaha, the most sincere devotee of Lord Krishna, Bhavan, your good self, yasya of which Shardhatatam, or one who gives full respect and attention, Ashu, very soon, Syad, it so becomes, Mukunde, unto the Lord who awards salvation or liberation, Matihi, faith, Sati, unflinching. So what does it mean? So that very Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam I shall recite before you because you are the most sincere devotee of Lord Krishna. So not envious. If you're a devotee, you're not envious of Krishna. One who gives full attention and respect to hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam achieves unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord, the giver of salvation. So one who gives full attention and respect. So you're going to hear it respectfully, whimsically, and with focus, and have belief in it, have faith in it, unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord, the giver of salvation. So Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is recognized Vedic wisdom, and the system of receiving Vedic knowledge is called Avaroha Pantha, or the process of receiving transcendental knowledge through bona fide disciplic succession. So these words are repeated again and again just to remind us that how we acquire knowledge. For advancement of material knowledge, there is a need for personal ability and researching aptitude. But in the case of spiritual knowledge, all progress depends more or less on the mercy of the spiritual master. So I'll read that again. For advancement of material knowledge, there is a need for personal ability and researching aptitude. So material knowledge is different. In the case of spiritual knowledge, all progress depends more or less on the mercy of the spiritual master. So about having a guru, it's about serving the guru, serving his instructions. His instructions will be the same as the instructions of Krishna. So basically you indirectly serving Krishna himself, and that's through the mercy you get the knowledge, right? That's how that spiritual knowledge is acquired. So Hirdaya Gyan, right? The knowledge is passed into the heart, just like Brahma received the knowledge of Hirdaya Gyan Prakshito. That's how we also get the knowledge. Brahma didn't have any parents to teach him. He was the first living being. He didn't have a spiritual master to guide him. All the knowledge was passed on to him through the heart by Lord Narayan. It's all given in the heart. Even how to create, all the Vedas, right? All the knowledge of the Vedas, of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, all the knowledge was passed into the heart directly, injected into the heart, and even how to create. And he had all the information, all the blueprints, and all the inspiration that he needed, passed straight into the heart. So that the spiritual master must be satisfied with the disciple. So in his case, his spiritual master was Narayan. Only then is knowledge automatically manifest before the student of spiritual science. So this knowledge we are learning right now, this acquiring, you need this for faith, right? Because then you know why you are doing what you're doing, and faith and attraction. But the real knowledge is Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. So that is passed on by the Lord or spiritual master's mercy itself. Right? So there's two types of knowledge. One is acquired by us, by observation, by reading, by hearing. Other is directly into the heart by the Lord. The spiritual master must be satisfied with the disciple. Only then is knowledge automatically manifest before the student of a spiritual science. The process should not, however, be misunderstood, be something like magical feats whereby the spiritual master acts like a magician and injects spiritual knowledge into his disciple. So it's not some, like that with a wand and then everything comes, enlightened, as if such charging him with an electrical current. The bona fide spiritual master reasonably explains everything to the disciple on the authorities of Vedic wisdom. The disciple can receive such teachings not exactly intellectually. These brains don't work in this instance, but by submissive inquiries, not by cross-examining, you ask submissively, and a service attitude. Because when you cross-examine, you don't really trust, you're sort of doubting everything. You have to use your spiritual intelligence, or what spiritual master is, Guru Shastra and Sadhu, this information is correct, but you don't challenge the spiritual master. So you have to be submissive. But by submissive inquiries and a service attitude. The idea is that both the spiritual master and the disciple must be bona fide. So in this case, the spiritual master, Shukadeva Goswami, is ready to recite exactly what he has learned from his great father, Srila Vyasadeva, and the disciple. Maharaj Parikshit is a great devotee of Lord Krishna. So just to say that both spiritual master and the disciple must be bona fide. We know about the spiritual master being bona fide means he comes in the disciplic succession all the way from Krishna, and the disciple who's bona fide, our Guru Maharaj Jayapataka Swami tells us that a bona fide disciple who understands the heart of the spiritual master. There's a connection, direct connection with the spiritual master. He's a bona fide disciple. So the spiritual master Shukadeva Goswami is ready to recite exactly what he has learned from his great father Srila Vyasadeva, and the disciple, the Maharaj Parikshit, is a great devotee of Lord Krishna. A devotee of Lord Krishna is he who believes sincerely that by becoming a devotee of the Lord, one becomes fully equipped with everything spiritual. So faith is the foundation. Believes sincerely. This teaching is imparted by the Lord himself in the page of Bhagavad-Gita, in which it is clearly described that the Lord Shri Krishna is everything, and that to surrender unto him solely and wholly makes one the most perfectly pious man. This unflinching faith in Lord Krishna prepares one to become a student of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And one who hears Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam from a devotee like Shukadeva Goswami is sure to attain salvation at the end. So you will get that, the grading, the certificate. The certificate is that you will get salvation at the end. What an amazing certificate to have, or award or reward, what you want to call it. As Maharaj Parikshit did, the professional reciter of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and the pseudo devotees whose faith is based on 1 week's hearing are different from Shukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit. So Prabhupada explaining about the weekly Bhagavatam sessions. Srila Vyasadeva explained Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam onto Shukadeva Goswami from the very beginning of the Janmadhyasya verse, the very first verse. And so Shukadeva Goswami also explained it to the king. Lord Krishna is described as the Mahapurush in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, canto 11. Excuse me. In his devotion feature as Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Krishna himself in his devotional attitude, descending to the earth to bestow special favors upon the fallen souls of this age of Kali. There are 2 verses particularly suitable to offer as prayers to this Mahapurush feature of Lord Krishna. So, this prayer. Deyam sada parivaganam vishtadoham tirthaspadam shiva viranchi nutam sharnyam vrityartiham pranatpal bhavati potam vande mapushte charnarvindam tyaktava sudustyaj surepista rajya lakshmi Dharmishtha arya vachsa yad agad aranyam maya mrigam dyatyai pisitam anvadabad pande marpushte charanarvindam. So in other words, Purusha means the enjoyer and Mahapurush means the supreme enjoyer or the supreme personality of Godhead Shri Krishna. One who deserves to approach the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna is called the Mahapurushka. Anyone who hears Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam attentively from its bona fide reciter is sure to become a sincere devotee of the Lord, who is available to award liberation. There was none so attentive as Maharaj Parikshit in the matter of hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and there was none so qualified as Shukadeva Goswami to recite the text of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Therefore, anyone who follows in the footsteps of either the ideal reciter or the ideal hearer, so we need to at least be the ideal hearer, Shukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit, respectively, will undoubtedly attain salvation like them. Maharaj Parikshit attained salvation by hearing only, and Shukadeva Goswami attained salvation only by reciting. Recitation and hearing are two processes out of 9 devotional activities, and by strenuously following the principles, either in all or by parts, one can attain the absolute plane. So the complete text of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, beginning with the Janmadhyasya verse up to the last one in the 12th canto, was spoken by Shukadeva Goswami for the attainment of salvation of Maharaj Parikshit. So very first verse to the last verse in the 12th canto. So there's 18,000 verses, if I'm correct, in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and they were all spoken within 7 days. In the Padma Purana, it is mentioned that Gautam Muni advised Maharaj Ambarish to hear regularly Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam as it was recited by Shukadeva Goswami. And herein it is confirmed that Maharaj Ambarish heard Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam from the very beginning to the end, as it was spoken by Shukadeva Goswami. One who is actually interested in the Bhagavatam, therefore, must not play with it by reading or hearing a portion from here and a portion from there. One must follow in the footsteps of great kings like Maharaj Ambarish or Maharaj Parikshit and hear it from a bona fide representative of Shukadeva Goswami. So our bona fide representative is Srila Prabhupada, and we are not taking a portion from here and a portion from there. We're going through verse by verse. So thank you, Krishna, that we're doing something right and we can follow in the footsteps of Maharaj Parikshit and Maharaj Ambarish and the great kings. So anything, so this is 10. So there's a criterion result. Since sincerity is key, honest and truthful, are we attentive, are we respecting Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, then we will develop the faith. We should hear Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in a systematic way, as we are now doing and relishing. So here we are. So it should be all systematic in a way, verse by verse. And this you understand better, because as Prabhupada was explaining in the overview that there is a link, he was linking each chapter to the next one. There's a link going on, and also he was picking certain important verses. I mean, first 3 verses, they cannot be ignored. First 3 verses are very, very important for Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, because that's the foundation, that's where it all begins. And then he's picking verses from the different chapters to connect the chapters together. You know, these are like important milestones or verses that connected the canto. So eta nirvidya mananam ichitam akuto bhayam yogina nirnitam hare namanu kritanam. So it is nirvidya mananam, of those who are completely free from all material desires, ichitam, of those who are desirous of all sorts of material enjoyment, akutha bhayam, free from all doubts and fear, Yoginam of all who are self-satisfied, Nirpa of king, Nirnitam or Niditam, decided truth, Hare of the Lord Shri Krishna, Nam, holy name, Anu, after someone always, Kirtanam, chanting. O king, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of the great authorities is doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by the dint of transcendental knowledge. So in the previous verse, the great necessity for attaining attachment to Mukunda has been accredited. There are different types of persons who desire to attain success in different varieties of pursuits. Generally, the persons are materialists who desire to enjoy the fullest extent of material gratification. Next to them are the transcendentalists who have attained perfect knowledge about the nature of material enjoyment and thus are aloof from such an illusory way of life. What a wasted time. What this precious time, this precious body, this life, just wasting it on mundane things. More or less, they are satisfied in themselves by self-realization. Above them are the devotees of the Lord who neither aspire to enjoy the material world nor desire to get out of it. They are after the satisfaction of the Lord, Sri Krishna. In other words, devotees of the Lord do not want anything on their personal account. If the Lord desires, the devotees can accept all sorts of material facilities. And if the Lord doesn't desire this, the devotees can leave aside all sorts of facilities, even up to the limit of salvation. Nor are they self-satisfied because they want the satisfaction of the Lord only. This is a very interesting point. The Lord is self-satisfied. You will say he's Atmaram. But we don't want to be self-satisfied because we want to satisfy Krishna. This is a very, very good point here. Nor are they self-satisfied because they want the satisfaction of the Lord only. We're only satisfied if the Lord is satisfied. That is our goal. In this verse, Sri Shukadeva Goswami recommends the transcendental chanting of the holy name of the Lord. By offenseless chanting and hearing of the holy name of the Lord, one becomes acquainted with the transcendental form of the Lord, and then with the attributes of the Lord, and then with the transcendental nature of his pastimes. Here it is mentioned that one should constantly chant the holy name of the Lord after hearing it from authorities. This means that hearing from authorities is the first essential. So the better hearer you are, the better then you can, recite what you've heard. Hearing of the holy name gradually promotes one to the stage of hearing about his form, his attributes, his pastimes, and so on. And thus the necessity of the chanting of his glories develops successfully. This process is recommended not only for the successful execution of devotional service, but also even for those who are materially attached. According to Sri Shukadeva Goswami, this way of attaining success is an established fact, concluded not only by him, but also by all other previous acharyas. Therefore, there is no need of further evidence. The process is recommended not only for the progressive students in different departments of ideological success, but also for those who are already successful in the achievement as fruity workers, as philosophers, or as devotees of the Lord. So, Srila Jiva Goswami instructs that chanting of the holy name of the Lord should be loudly done, should be performed offenselessly as well, as recommended in the Padma Puran. One can deliver himself from the effects of all sins by surrendering himself unto the Lord. One can deliver himself from all offences at the feet of the Lord by taking shelter of his holy name. But when cannot protect himself, if one commits an offence at the feet of the holy name of the Lord. Such offences are mentioned in the Padma Puran as being 10 in number. So the 10 offences that we recite. So the first Okay, so the offenses are mentioned here. First offense is to vilify the great devotees of who have preached about the glories of the Lord. So to blaspheme the devotees who are preaching about the glories of the Lord, or who have dedicated their lives in the service of the Lord. The second offense is to see the holy names of the Lord in terms of worldly distinction. The Lord is the proprietor of all the universes, and therefore he may be known in different places by different names, but that does not in any way qualify the fullness of the Lord. Any nomenclature which is meant for the Supreme Lord is as holy as the others, because they are all meant for the Lord. Such holy names are as powerful as the Lord, and there is no bar for anyone in any part of the creation to chant and glorify the Lord by the particular name of the Lord as it is locally understood. They are all auspicious, and one should not distinguish such names of the Lord as material commodities. Okay, so we would normally say to consider the names of demigods like Brahma, Shiva to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. So Lord Vishnu is the highest, is the supreme. Third offense is to neglect the orders of the authorized acharyas or spiritual masters, so to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. The fourth offense is to vilify scriptures or Vedic knowledge, so to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. So fifth offense is to define the holy name of the Lord in terms of one's mundane calculation, or to consider the holy name to imagination. The holy name of the Lord is identical with the Lord himself, and one should not understand the holy name of the Lord to be non-different from him. Sixth offense is to give some kind of interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. The sixth offense is to interpret the holy name. The Lord is not imaginary, nor is his holy name. There are persons with a poor fund of knowledge who think the Lord is to be an imagination of the worshipper, and therefore think his name to be imaginary. Such a chanter of the name of the Lord cannot achieve the desired success in the matter of chanting the holy name. So we should not think it's imaginary, or it's give some kind of own interpretation to it. So seventh offense is to commit sinful activities in the strength of the holy name. So seventh offense is to commit sins intentionally on the strength of the holy name. In the scriptures it is said that one can be liberated from the effects of all sinful actions simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. One who takes advantage of this transcendental method and continues to commit sins on the expectation of neutralizing the effects of sins by chanting the holy name of the Lord is the greatest offender at the feet of the holy name. Such an offender cannot purify himself by any recommended method of purification. In other words, one may be a sinful man before chanting the holy name of the Lord, but after taking shelter in the holy name of the Lord and becoming immune, one should strictly restrain oneself from committing sinful acts with the hope that his method of chanting the holy name will give protection. So that is cheating. Basically, it's like you have the Western way that you go on committing crimes, and then you go and repent, and what do they call it? Do your confession, and then go back out and say, right now the slate is clean, I'll start committing more crimes. So it's not like that. You cannot do sinful activity that the holy name is there to protect me and it will clean the slate. No, that won't happen, because you cannot misuse the holy name. That's not what it's for. The eighth offense is to consider the holy name of the Lord and his chanting method to be equal to some material auspicious activity, like karma-kant. There are various kinds of good works for material benefits, but the holy name and his chanting are not mere auspicious holy services. So karma-kant is material. The holy name should not be considered a material activity. Undoubtedly, the holy name is holy service, but it should never be utilized for such purposes. Since the holy name and the Lord are of one and the same identity, one should not try to bring the holy name into service of mankind or material benefits. The idea is that the Supreme Lord is the supreme enjoyer. He is no one's servant or order supplier. Similarly, since the holy name of the Lord is identical with the Lord, one should not try to utilize the holy name for one's personal service. So, we don't have material expectations. As you said earlier, if Krishna give you something, fine. If he doesn't, that's fine. It's all mercy. Whatever Krishna wants. And if he does give you something, then use that in the service of Krishna. If he gives some talent, some intellect, some wealth, make sure you use it in Lord's service. So the ninth offense is to, is to instruct those who are not interested in chanting the holy name of the Lord, but the transcendental nature of the holy name. Such instruction is imparted to an unwilling audience. The act is considered to be an offense at the feet of the holy name. So to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. So we have to be careful. Like I said, you have to be subtle, because if you are instructing a person who are not interested, as is mentioned here, then you will, to an extent, cause offense, which may be forgiven because you're trying to help someone. Krishna may forgive you. But the other person, if they saying something, wrong against holy name, then you also encourage them to commit offenses. So you don't want them to commit offenses. So you have to be careful that the person does not commit, and so you're careful about your approach, because then the holy name is being insulted, and the person is also committing offenses as well. So we have to be careful. We want to protect people, protect ourselves, protect people, and also make sure the holy name is not tarnished like that. And the 10th offense is to become uninterested in the holy name of the Lord, even after hearing the transcendental nature of the holy name. The effect of chanting the holy name of the Lord is perceived by the chanter as liberation from the conception of false egoism. False egoism is exhibited by thinking oneself to be the enjoyer of the world and thinking everything in the world to be meant for the enjoyment of one's self only. The whole materialistic world is moving around such false egoism of I and mine, but the factual fact of chanting the holy name is to become free from such misconceptions. So not to have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name, and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions in metta. And then we say that it is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting, which is not mentioned here, but in the Padma Purana, as I mentioned earlier, that covers everything. If you're not attentive, that's probably the biggest offense. That you're not gaining anything if you're not attentive. You're chanting. The chanting should enter your heart, and clean up your heart. So if you're not chanting, then you're not making use of the chanting. So thank you so much. This was number 11. So a devotee is only interested in giving pleasure to Krishna. Chanting Hare Krishna is for everyone, but should be without offenses. Okay, so I'm going to leave it here. I think 10 and 11. We've taken a lot of time, but it was very important. Stop sharing. I'd like to hear from yourselves. And we'll start with Pundikaksh Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you. I mean, these two verses are having entire Bhagavatam is covered. I feel like so much is there in these two purports, and every line seems to be a big purport itself. But some points, Prabhuji, as you said, I like that point where it talks about self-satisfaction. Self-satisfied doesn't mean that you are satisfied, but you are satisfying the Krishna. I like that point very, very much.
Me too.
And the actual, there's a comparison of material knowledge to spiritual knowledge. And this spiritual knowledge should be taken only in discipline succession, which is our like top to down approach. And And this knowledge completely depends on the mercy of spiritual master. So that's why we sing Mangalarti every morning, where we offer prayers to the spiritual master. And it is said that spiritual master is a representative of the Supreme Lord. And every verse explains how spiritual master is engaged himself in the service of the Lord, and at the same time he also provides us opportunity to engage ourselves in the devotional service. Often we are very much confused about devotional service. We may think anything what we are doing can be considered as a devotional service. But spiritual master is the right person who identify what exactly is the spiritual devotional, and he will make sure he clears our heart by giving us knowledge and bring us close to Krishna. And spiritual knowledge is not like, again, spiritual master is not doing it as a magic wand is kept on you and you got all the knowledge, but he gives you in a step-by-step process. So as Srila Vyasadeva gave Bhagavatam to Sukadeva Goswami by teaching him from first two verse of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So Srila Prabhupada reiterates this, that everything has to be read in order, nothing to be skipped, nothing to be read from here and there, and it should be done systematically. And once we start reading Srila Prabhupada purports, I realized that no purport can be skipped actually, because Srila Prabhupada put lot of information in many purports, and if you miss that, you may miss some good information which actually can help you in your spiritual path as well. So that has to be done in a systematic order. And there are so many other points, Prabhuji. I'll leave to Kiran Prabhuji and other devotees. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Absolutely, you want to find comb this spiritual knowledge, make sure we don't miss anything, and make most use of it, because you never know what might hit you. Like today, we're reading that self-satisfied is not good. You want to be satisfied for Krishna. So like that, now something can hit you hard and really boost your spirituality, your sadhana. So that's good. Thank you. Kiran Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Yes, as Pundakash Prabhu has said, we have to relish this nectar. But the way to best relish this nectar is not to lick it from the outside of the jar, but to go and open the jar very carefully so that each little spoonful and each little drop is so beautifully and so carefully sweetens and purifies us. And yes, there are 18,000 verses, and the 18,000 verses take a long time. Historically, many of us have done different parts of the Bhagavatam, and one or two of us are on this call who have been doing the Bhagavatam with Vrindavani Mataji for years and years. And of course, because we've done it in a chronological way, it really does help. But to then have this deep dive that we're doing on a weekly basis, 3 times a week, is even more relishable. And so therefore, each of these verses and each of the purport are so deep and so purifying that we must devote that time, effort, and attention. This is no ordinary knowledge. This knowledge was given to the sages, and before the sages, Krishna gave it to various people, and Brahma and Narad Muni and so forth. And so this has gone down in that cyclical process, where eventually even Vyasadeva then gave it to Sukadev, and then Sukadev imparted to all the sages and then to all of us. So this is a systematic distillation of the Vedas done through the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And for us in the Kali Yuga, this is the most effective way of getting to understand the heart, soul, and mind of Krishna. Because if we can be aligned with those thinking, those perceptions, those cognitive analysis, then we can bet your bottom dollar that, if we listen submissively and with humility, we will achieve a lot in this particular lifetime. We won't have to waste those opportunities that we wasted time and time again. So not only will we be satisfying ourselves, but in this process we'll be satisfying the divine. So we won't have to take birth again in another prison and another prison and another prison after each birth. This birth should be enough to get us out of this imprisonment. And if we relish this Bhagavatam in its purest form, such unimaginable wealth is available to us. And of course, we need to be mindful of the offenses that have been outlined. Just listen with humility, sincerity, and with mercy, because Krishna has given us the mercy to be a part of this Sangha and to be amongst each other, because this is the most priceless opportunity that we'll ever get. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah. Actually, I won't say anything because we're running out of time. We'll go to, very good points, Prabhu. Hina Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much. Some very nice points have been covered. So I'll just touch on a couple of things that stood out for me. In text 10, it reminds us again how human life has a higher purpose, and it's not meant to be used for eating, sleeping, working, and enjoying the senses. Otherwise, we are no different to animals. So it just emphasizes that we have a unique gift. Human beings have a unique gift, and we're able to inquire. So that's how we should. That's really what we should be doing. And then this topic of sense gratification, how sense gratification should not be the goal of life, which means that we shouldn't make it the central aim of life. Otherwise, we'll just end up being bound to material world. We'll be coming back in our next life back here. And the key thing is trying to keep Krishna, keep the main thing, essentially, keep that central in our life. And that's, I was thinking about that we should only really maintain the body as much as we need to help us with our spiritual development on that basis, and not go overboard in that sense as well. And that our work on all our activities is meant to elevate our consciousness. So we all have to be engaged with some level of material life, whether that's our work, family life, learning, or things like that. So, but it should support our spiritual growth in Krishna consciousness, not go against that. So, and I think also many people have a sense of dissatisfaction in material life. They feel incomplete. And I think this verse for me helps to explain that the why they feel dissatisfaction, because the soul is craving for connection with Krishna. And then text 11, we see. I know it was in the previous verse around about how the absolute truth can be realized in three ways: through the Brahman, through Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And it shows that God, and then this verse for me shows that God can be simultaneously personal and all pervading. There's no contradictions here. It almost reconciles everything for you. It teaches us that people can see or perceive the same truth differently according to where they are spiritually as well. So that was the main points for me. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Madhuri. Yeah, I mean, that's a very good point, that make sure we're using everything in the service of Krishna. So whatever we're doing, that we can apply everything, our work, our rest, our sleep, what we eat, everything can be used in the service of Krishna. That's the amazing thing. So, if we want to satisfy Krishna, then we have to make sure that we're not doing something just for our own satisfaction only for our own sense gratification, because you can still enjoy, but you can enjoy through Krishna as well. So thank you, Mataji. Okay. Praveen Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Mataji.
Yes, yeah, we are very fortunate what we've been given by Srila Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and reading 10 offenses before we start our chanting, and understanding how the mood should be when we are chanting, how we should not do any offenses. So it's nice Srila Prabhupada has explained again in this verse, because chanting can give us everything. It purifies us, it eradicates our sins, it keeps us focused, serving the Lord. And then also glories of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, how we should hear it from a bona fide speaker only. So ideal hearer, ideal reciter, it's important that it is coming from the right person, not like people who are doing it for money. It has to be read systematically, and you're doing that for us, giving us verse by verse, Prabhuji. That's so nice. Thank you so much. And we get knowledge only by the mercy of the Supreme Master. So it's not like it comes automatically, but how we get the mercy is by following the instructions of the spiritual master. So again, the 10 offenses, it's all very clear. So it's important that we should read them before we start our chanting every day. So we are reminded what we have to be careful. And yes, chanting and hearing, it is the only thing, that will help us to reach a final goal. We have to stay focused. And the words like sincerity, attention, respectful, whatever we do, we have to do it very, very carefully. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Yeah, and service, we want to do service as well. Make sure that we stay in a humble mood. This is the reason we will serve at the temple, do this, services. So we stay. The chanting should be also done in a very humble mood as a servant, and so that's the reason we do services, to keep us grounded. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, and also like like Arjuna, when he was saying that whatever he was able to do was only mercy of the Lord. So whatever we are doing, even we are chanting, it's not our endeavor, it is Lord's mercy that we are able to do it. So we just have to remember that whatever we are doing, even attending the classes, it's mercy of Lord only.
Absolutely.
That it is happening. Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Ajay Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Yes, some important, they're all important verses, but very important in terms of just breaking it down in terms of this is not whimsical, this is the science of Godhead. There's a process that must be followed. That's mentioned by many devotees. We like with the chanting, with the reading, it's just not whimsical. You have the process. For example, with Bhagavatam, it is explained that in Bhagavatam compared to the form of the Lord, don't just jump to canto 10, which we understand as the face of the Lord. We start with canto 1 and 2, that's the lotus feet of the Lord. That service mood where you're showing your obeisances, you're working your way up. Then you appreciate the Lord in all its glories, as much as you can understand at least, because the Lord's glories are unlimited. The same with the chanting of the holy name. It is such a great gift for people in this age, because we do make a lot of mistakes. We do have our imperfect senses. We have our issues to deal with. Yet the holy name does purify you, no matter, even if you are chanting inattentively. But that doesn't mean you should chant inattentively. There's that difference there. You should try to make the effort to chant to the best of your ability. Think of it like having a conversation with Krishna. So, if you're talking to somebody, you wouldn't just be looking away elsewhere or fiddling on your phone. You're having that direct conversation. So at least try to engage to the best of your ability. It might not always be possible, because you could be tired, you could be going through some issues or something, and maybe the mind is mind does tend to wander at times, but at least try to engage, have some sort of, that's what Krishna really asks for, is some sort of engagement. That's the whole point. And if you're going to have a relationship with Krishna, then you have to at least try to make some effort on your part. You know, it can't just be all from Krishna. That's the thing. So when we do make some effort, we work with the devotees. We actually try to properly understand what it is we're trying to do. Then it does become a lot easier, because then we are actually following those that have understood what they're doing. So it's like going somewhere and you have somebody with you who knows where they're going. It makes it a lot easier, as opposed to you just trying to figure it out yourself, and then you might make it by the mercy of the Lord, but this is a lot easier to do it this way. And that's why we have to take it, pay attention to the 10 offenses. We have to pay attention when we're reading, when we're chanting. We just have to, it just takes a bit of effort, really. And even if you do make mistakes, again, this is Kali Yuga, so you are forgiven for a lot of it. It's not quite punishable as it may have been in previous times. We just need to really just take advantage of the association of devotees, especially the pure devotees, the ones that have properly engaged in this bhakti movement. And I think we see it with everyone who has put some effort in. Their advancement they make is at times quite incredible, and some of the things they have achieved for the movement, achieved in their own lives, it's very inspirational. They just keep going and just keep looking to improve. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks so much. And you're right. This is why I approach a spiritual master, because it's mentioned chapter 4 that he has seen the truth, right? So we don't. Why do we need to endeavor trying to find something that we may not find by our own efforts, when we can just, it's already been done for us. Everything's been done for us. The prayers are there for us. The process is there for us. The translations are there for us. Everything has been given to us. And what we need to do is to have faith and use it with faith and apply it in our lives, right? Not just learn it, just not knowledge. Knowledge should lead to devotion. If your knowledge does not lead to devotion, then you have not understood the process. Your knowledge should lead to intensification of emotions for Krishna. If it's not doing that, then you have not applied the knowledge. Very important. Radharani?
Hare Krishna everyone, my pranams to all of you. Yes, you all have covered everything. All I can add is that we have to do our best. We have to do with sincerity. Whether we are chanting, whether we are reading, whether we are hearing, whether we are trying to explain to someone who is interested in knowing the process. So we just do our best, and it gets better and better slowly. It is not a magic that it will change. We do get frustrated because we feel that we are going nowhere, but we have to have faith, and it will work like it did for our Acharyas. It will work for us also one day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, very good point that the living entities have already demonstrated to us that the process works, and it does work. You don't have to be demigod to do it. It can be done. Nad Muni is a great example for us that with faith, sincerity, and commitment and enthusiasm, we can gain anything, whether this material or especially spiritual. We should endeavor. So thank you all so much. We'll catch up on Monday hopefully, and Wednesday, as you know, no morning program. We'll have the evening part 2 with Gauranath Prabhu and the complete canto 1. So interesting. It's difficult. It's very concentrated. We're trying to pack in a canto in a couple of sessions, so it's very concentrated. I understand, and but we do we should make our best effort to try and understand, to hear, and it's it's very useful and very interesting if we sort of put our mind to it. I think we can appreciate it more. So thank you so much. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you.
Hari Bol, thank you.
Very cool. Thank you.
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.